Hey guys, what's up? Alec back with the daily stock market. And yes, I am up over $6,000 on just one of my accounts, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to talk all about NIO stock and NIO day, give you a nice NIO update and how you can make money off NIO stock for the long term. Also go over financial statements, income statements, balance sheets, and compare them against some of the competitors like Tesla. We'll compare NIO. We'll also compare them with Xpeng and Lee. So if that sounds like something you guys are interested, make sure you stay tuned and don't forget to give a thumbs up on this video. But we have a lot to talk about today on the channel, so let's get right in. So just on a recap on our account, we're up 1.2% today, up almost $300 on the day. On the week, we're actually up $903, 4%. On the month, we're up $1,600, and in the last 3 months, we're up $6,000, 36%. A lot of stocks I hold right now are green, but the main video is going to be about NIO, and then also we're going to be talking about a little bit about Tesla and some of NIO's competitor like Lee also. So NIO day, guys, January 9th, we already know, releasing their sedan is their big thing. So NIO is going to be releasing their sedan. This is going to be competing against the Tesla Model 3. So that's the most important thing because they already have SUVs. And they can be releasing 2 sedans during NIO days. So that'll be some good information if they do end up putting out 2 sedans instead of 1. Now, also pricing is going to be a really big thing that is not known specifically right now. So if it competes with the Tesla Model 3 or can even beat the price point of the Tesla Model 3, that's going to be a huge thing and it's going to be super competitive. So it absolutely needs to be competing with the Tesla Model 3 on the price point. Now, we saw a 120% spike in December on deliveries, and a 120% spike in December was important because it helped them beat their quarterly goals. Now, mass production on the sedan will come in Q4 of 2021. So that's when we'll probably see NIO stock price picking up a lot more in Q3, Q4, and into 2022. They can be a great play for long term too. Now, NIO is also going to be releasing a battery pack. So if it has over 500 miles, which it is expected to have over 500, that will actually be very big for the stock price, and it's a good thing to look for on NIO day. So remember, so far we're looking for the competitive price on the sedans. We're looking for 2 sedans. Also looking if it can do over 500 miles, their new batteries too. So these are all important catalysts that are unknown yet. So if these are all positive reports on NIO day, let's go over a few more important things to be looking for on NIO day. They are claiming they have the most advanced auto drive on the market, which would have to be like a level 4 auto drive to be better than Tesla. So this can be absolutely huge if they do confirm it on NIO day. Because as of right now, we don't know too much about their auto drive feature other than their LiDAR. Now, the details about the European factory are also unknown right now too. So if they release some information, some solid expansion plans or dates, where in Europe, prices, anything, some details, then that can actually be really good for the stock price too. Now, the great thing about NIO and what I think other people are going to start doing is battery swaps. That's like their whole nature of their business is you can buy the car without the battery and then you can upgrade down the line to a stronger battery. Now, battery swaps as a service are pretty much unprecedented right now, and it could be a massive company disruptor with a subscription-based service for electric car batteries. So imagine a subscription-based service, but with car batteries. And it gives them a really competitive edge with their car price too. They can sell the car for cheaper. And then if they need a lower end battery, they can get the lower end battery. If they need the higher end battery, and then they can upgrade to a higher end battery down the road. So the question is, is this where GE and other American EV makers will take this market, is to a replaceable battery, a swappable battery? I'll tell you why it's actually a great idea is because it's a smaller barrier to entry for one. And if you need a battery with more range, you won't have to buy a new car. So for example, if you buy a Tesla Model 3 Standard Edition, which only gives you 240 miles of range, let's say the 350 miles or 400 or 500 mile battery range is very important to you, you can actually keep your car and you can just swap out the battery and upgrade your battery and not have to upgrade your whole car, which is a very smart idea. As of right now, we don't know too much about LiDAR and NIO, so they can be introducing more LiDAR and plans with LiDAR on NIO Day, so you definitely want to watch out for that. Now, NIO is definitely a 2 to 3, even a 5-year play. So if I was going to be personally buying NIO, it's not really to swing trade it. Yes, you probably can swing trade it, but you'd probably be making more money if you just buy it and hold it for long term, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road. They're really actually setting themselves up for success right now in the long term. Now, NIO is expanding with government contracts too, and China made it almost impossible to register a car that's non-electric. So we see less and less non-electric cars being registered in China, and they almost made it at this point like you can't even do it. And then in the future, I'm sure that's where California already said that they want to go that route too, making it impossible to actually register a car that's non-electric. So that's just good thing for that sector in general, Tesla, Li, and of course NIO too. Now their new factory stations, they already have this information out right now, can perform 400 plus battery swaps per day. So their new factories can actually do 400 battery swaps a day, which is 4 times more than their old factories. And a lot of this news that's known already has already been reflected in the stock price gains. So this is what we already know about NIO Day. There could be a lot of good things that we don't know, obviously, that we're going to want to be looking for. And in my opinion, I think it is super realistic for NIO to 2x over 1 to 2 years, or maybe even 3x. You know, the value obviously is there for the long term. There's also a rumor going out right now. I'm not sure if you guys heard it, but Apple can partner with NIO. So that would be very interesting for Apple and both NIO. Now, GAC NIO, I don't know if you guys ever heard of GAC NIO, but it is in the works and to make EVs as cheap as possible. And it's a partner company with NIO. NIO owns this company. It's not the same company as NIO. It's actually a completely different one. But it's called GAC NIO, and their goal is to make EVs as cheap as possible, which can be interesting down the road and maybe something to look out for too. And how they would make money is actually on the services and the software side of things. Now, also, there's a rumor that Baidu is going to end up making EVs. I know a lot of people are trying to get into that EV market. Now, remember, a NIO is still a luxury car. They're about $55,000 to $57,000 to get a new NIO, and that's very expensive. So just like Xpeng, if you guys know Xpeng, it's pretty much the same thing too. They're pretty expensive cars. So that newer price and that better price, closer to $30,000, $35,000, is going to be very attractive for NIO too. Keep in mind, NIO is more of a luxury brand, kind of almost like a Mercedes or a BMW, where Tesla is more of like a Toyota, where they are made for production and they're made to do a lot of cars. Now, keep in mind, Tesla is still dominant, crazy dominant. Tesla sells 3 times more than NIO. And if you guys follow the channel, you know I do like Tesla better than NIO overall. But their batteries are nearly the same right now, especially if NIO puts out that they are getting 550 miles of range in their sedans. That can be huge, or even for their SUVs too. And I also like that NIO is spending a lot of money on research and development to stay innovative. But let's go into the finances and look at Tesla finances compared to NIO's finances, compared to Xpeng, compared to Li Automotive. So let's get right into that. Okay, so first up we have Tesla. And as you can see, it's been a revenue monster for the last 5 years, been growing double digits consistently. From 2017 to 2018, it grew 82% in revenues, which is monster. And then 2019, it grew 14%. And this isn't displaying 2020, so actually let me pull up 2020's income statement for you guys. So here we see the 2020 income statement, and it's going to be based off of quarter for you guys, so you can actually see the growth. And what you'll see is in Q3 alone of 2020, Tesla did $8 billion in revenue. So compared to Q3 of last year, 2019, it's up 39%, which is a really awesome thing to look at. If you remember, Tesla just became a profitable company But if you look right here at net income, in Q3, they actually made $369 million. And in Q2, they made $129 million. So if we go back far enough, you'll actually see that Q3 was their first profitable net income in 2019. And then Q4, they actually went up to 132. And then in Q1, they did 68 million, and so on and so forth. So you guys can kind of check that out, rewind it, or pause the video so you can actually see their net income growth right here. And if we look at their balance sheet, they have 14 billion in cash and cash equivalents, which is up 172% from Q3 of last year. Their account receivables are up. Their total current assets are up too. And if you look at their long-term debt, it's actually down 6%. They have 10 billion in long-term debt, and they have 13 billion in total current liabilities. Now, I also want to take a peek at research and development costs in this one. So as you see in research and development cost, Tesla spent 366 million in Q3 and 279 million. And their research and development costs, they spent 1.3 billion in 2019 alone, Tesla. So here we have NIO's income statement pulled up, and you can see their total revenue is a lot smaller at 66 million in Q3, which is up 159% from 2019 Q3. Now Q2, they have 525 million. And in Q1, their revenue was only 193 million. So it's just going to be exploding. And NIO is a revenue monster, and they're going to be a revenue monster over the next 1 to 2 years. Now let's look at their research and development. As you can see, they spent 87 million in Q3, which is down almost 40% from Q3 of 2019. So they were spending a lot more on research and development in 2019, it looks like. Yeah, so look at their research and development is 77 million for Q2 of 2020, and that's down nearly 60% from 2019. So in 2019, they were spending a boatload on research and development, and it looks like they figured a lot out in 2019, because in 2019, they spent 609 million on research and development. And in Q3, they spent 87 million, 77 million, and 73 million all year so far. So whatever they were spending their money on for research and development in 2019 looks like it did pay off, needless to say. And their net income is pretty pointless to look at because they are a negative company. In 2019, they were negative 1.6 billion. And if you look at Q3 of 2020, which we have pulled up right now, they were only negative 154 million. So they are getting closer to breaking even or being positive. And the day that NIO becomes positive with their earnings and with their net income will be a huge thing for NIO. Now, their balance sheet in 2019, their cash and cash equivalents was only 123 million, which is very small. But if you pull up their most recent one in Q3 of 2020, look at their cash and cash equivalents now. They have 2.8 billion in cash and cash equivalents, which is up almost 2,000%, which is a great thing I want to look for when I'm investing in a company. Now in Q1 of 2020, you can actually see they were only at 200 million in cash and cash equivalents, but look at that explosion of growth in Q2 and Q3, and Q4 is probably up even a little bit higher than that too. Their short-term investments is up 258%. Now, their total current liabilities is 1.6 billion, which isn't the worst thing in the world, honestly. It could be a lot worse than that, especially with how much they are spending. Their long-term debt is only about 1 billion, which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world either. So overall, their balance sheet is getting better. Their total revenue is getting better. Their income statement's getting better. Their profits are getting better. Their cash and cash equivalents is getting better. So overall, I would say that NIO is a company that probably has a bright future, most likely has a bright future ahead of them. And if you are investing on them, remember, I like them for the long term. And they keep on showing positive signs. And it looks like they're going to keep showing positive signs in the future too. All right, now we have Lee Automotive picked up. Now we have Lee Automotive pulled up, and they are a newer stock, so we don't have that much data on them. but you can see we can compare 2020 against itself. So you'll see the first time they reported revenue was Q4 of 2019 at 40 million, and then they gained it to 120 million in Q1 of 2020, and they went all the way to 275 million to 369 million. So it looks like they are a revenue monster, and quarter over quarter, they're growing revenues consistently. Now, this company is not a profitable company, but it looks like they're not bleeding money. They are only negative about 15 million in Q3 of 2020, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Their balance sheet doesn't look horrible. Also, it looks like in 2019, they're at 1.3 billion in their assets, which we'll look at what it's in 2020. And they had 700 million in their total liabilities, which we'll see what it is in. And their total liabilities is up to 744 million. So here we can actually see their total assets are up to 3.7 billion, which is a really great thing to see that they've actually doubled their assets essentially. So they definitely are improving their balance sheet. And if we actually go to their total liabilities, it's actually 744 million, right? So they have almost 3 times as much assets as liabilities. They have an excellent balance sheet, and they seem like a very safe company, but they are a newer company, keep in mind too. So with that being said, I would still be careful with this company. They have total assets of 3.7 billion, and they have total liabilities minus to a B plus on the balance sheet for me, which is really, really good. So here we have Xpeng's balance sheet pulled up. They have 1.8 billion in just cash and cash equivalents. Their total assets is at 4.09 billion, so 4 billion on their total assets. And if we scroll down to their total liabilities, they have 1 billion in liabilities. So pretty much the same balance sheet. Their liabilities versus assets is probably closer to 4 rather than 3 compared to Lee. So I would say that this one's an A minus as well on their balance sheet. It looks really good. They have 1.8 in cash and cash equivalents, which is really nice. And they also have a total assets of 4 billion, and their total liabilities is only 1.1 billion. So their total liabilities, they can cover that with their cash and cash equivalents alone. They can pay their total liabilities off if anything happens. They have enough cash and cash equivalents to get them through hard times. So guys, these were all pretty good stocks, and I would definitely have my eye on all these ones. Xpeng, Lee, NIO, and Tesla. You guys know Tesla's my favorite. NIO's my second favorite. And then I'll say that the last two, the Lee and Xpeng, are probably tied in my opinion. So those two last ones are tied as far as financials go. And if you guys didn't catch NIO's balance sheet, by the way, the total assets on them were 5 billion as of Q3, and the total liabilities on them were 2.9 billion, so nearly 3 billion. So they don't even have twice as many assets as they do liabilities. And their cash and cash equivalents, the good thing about them is their cash and cash equivalents, 2.8 billion, can cover all of their total liabilities, almost all of their total liabilities. They'll still have like 400 million left over. But it's good when the company has enough cash and cash equivalents to cover their total liabilities. So it is hard to compare these companies because it's like almost like comparing a college kid versus a middle school kid versus a kindergartner. You know, Xpeng and Lee being the kindergartners, NIO being the middle schooler, and Tesla being a college graduate too. So they are all at different stages in their businesses, but they are all looking like good options. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy that video. It was very straightforward. I just wanted to go over the balance sheets, compare them against some of the bigger companies out there. So I hope it changed your mindset a little bit differently, got you thinking about some stuff that you never thought about before, and maybe even sparked some interest on you to do some own research on some of these other points that we talked about. Are you guys excited for NIO Day? Let's see what happens, honestly. Anything could happen. They can release some stuff we never thought about. The stock can go up 20%. The stock can go down 20%. So I'm here for it. I'm excited. Let's just see what it brings. And if you guys need more one-on-one help with me, go ahead and reach out on my Instagram. I have an amazing training program that teaches you everything from A to Z on how to become an expert trader in a short amount of time too. It takes about 90 days to get to a more advanced level. There's a lot of skills and stuff I look for personally. I'm here to teach you guys that. So guys, share the video with a friend, smack a thumbs up on it, comment below on your thoughts on NIO Day, what you want to see, how much percent you want it to go up, how many shares you're buying, if you're holding, if you're buying. And let's get a conversation going in the comment section, guys. I will see you in the next video. Until next time, remember, don't time the market, buy the market. Peace.